Sorry about that. I'm having technical difficulties on the first day of class. Who could have imagined? Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about masking policy since you guys all had your masks on. If you don't want to wear a mask, I'm going to ask you to leave. We're not going to argue about it. We're not going to talk about personal freedom or anything else. I'm just going to ask you to leave. If you forget a mask, I have some every day. I'll have some in my bag. So for whatever reason you forget yours or you're in a hurry or something, I've got one and we'll be good to go. Okay? Questions about chronic diseases. Think about people in your life, okay? Think about like your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, people in your life. And once you get people that are over the age of about 40 or thereabouts, then lots of them are going to have something like one of these things. Cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, okay, people that are post-heart attacks, et cetera, some kind of cancer, some kind of arthritis, especially type 2 diabetes. Okay, so the most common forms of chronic diseases in the US, the most common one is high blood pressure. If you look at folks that are over the age of 60, almost 70% of people over the age of 60 have high blood pressure. It's coming for all of us. Okay? Alzheimer's and dementia, some kind of heart disease, depression, arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, COPD and other lung diseases, cancer, stroke. So these things are all relatively prominent, especially in folks over the age of 50. The rates of all of these, as you guys will see in class, are going up. These are, for better or worse, these are diseases of sedentary behaviors. These are diseases of first world problems, okay? My job requires me to sit on my ass and look at a computer. And then I go home and I watch TV and I sit on my ass some more and I eat Chick-fil-A or I go and I get pizza or whatever that's going to be, okay? And so these things are on the rise, and they're on the rise in developing countries as well, because every country that wants to be like the US, what does that mean? You need computers, you need cars, you need things like this, right? And so it's becoming a bigger and bigger deal. All right. There's going to be times in class where, I'm not going to lie, class is a little bit scary. Class is a little bit dark, okay? It's a little bit morbid because we have to talk about mortality rates. We have to talk about the things that kill us so that we can understand how we can do better, how we can prevent those kinds of things. And so as a part of that, we need to understand sort of what mortality rate is, okay? Mortality rate is, in essence, it is death rate, okay? It's a measure of the number of people that die in a particular population relative to the size of that population per some unit of time. Again, mortality rates by the CDC tend to be expressed as the number of people in an age group or in a particular sex group or whatever, okay, that die over the course of a year per 100,000 people, okay? So mortality rates can be very general, which we call all-cause mortality. All-cause mortality is that you die from anything, everything, whatever it is. This is just simply the total number of people that die in that particular group over the course of a year. Or we can get conditions specifically. So say like diabetes mortality in a particular group over a particular, like usually a year period of time, okay? We'll spend some time talking about these kinds of things. I just want you guys to understand where those numbers come from and why we call them what we call them. Okay. Here are mortality rates. This is the leading causes of death at relatively present. This is from 2010, so it's about 10 years old. I've seen the new data. It looks about the same. Leading causes of death in adults that are men and adults that are women, okay? Heart disease, about 25%. Cancer, about 25%, okay? Then we have boys will be boys, unintentional injuries, car accidents, hang gliding accidents, things of that nature, okay? Unintentional injuries, you will note that does not include suicide, but then stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, pneumonia, and influenza. This year we could probably add COVID into some of these things, and then kind of this group of just nebulous other things that are each individually not very common, okay? But look, about half of all deaths in men, and then again, about half of all deaths in women come from cardiovascular disease and cancer. Okay? I will tell you all right now, if we can exercise and be active, we'll learn how and why of all of this. We can not entirely prevent death from cardiovascular disease, but we can markedly reduce it, okay? Certain kinds of cancer, okay? Breast cancer, prostate cancer, sometimes colorectal cancer, we can reduce pretty markedly with exercise and physical activity and increasing our physical fitness as well, okay? Cause of death by age, here is, you guys are in this group here, but it's age 1 to 24. We throw infants out. Here's 25 to 44. I will luckily still just barely fall into that particular group. 45 to 64, 65 and over. What I want you guys just to notice, you don't have to memorize these numbers, is just look, in about half of all deaths in y'all's age group are from unintentional injuries and homicide. You guys don't die from cancer. You guys don't die from cardiovascular disease. You don't die from type 2 diabetes, okay? Much, much smaller kind of levels, right? Almost 2/3 of all folks is going to be unintentional homicide and suicide. You get into my age group, again, unintentional injuries are gonna take a big piece. Cancer begins to pop in though, heart disease begins to pop in, suicide, homicide are still going to be there. So we're beginning to see these things we don't have a lot of control over fall away, and these two chronic diseases pop up. 45 to 64, right? Cancer, heart disease, a little bit of unintentional injuries. And then older folks, again, cancer, heart disease, stroke, okay? Some kind of lower respiratory disease. And so what you guys will note then is that the things that kill us are not the same as ages change. That's going to be related very much so to you guys are more active and you exercise more than your parents or me or your grandparents. You guys, it takes time for cardiovascular disease, for diabetes, it takes cancer, it takes time for these things to develop and to eventually kill you. There's good and bad to that. The good is that you guys don't have these things right now, and so if we can get you to continue to undergo and continue to practice certain behaviors, then you can reduce your things, okay? The bad thing is that a lot of you think this is not going to affect me until I'm 60, so I'm going to Chick-fil-A today. That's the Dr. Black philosophy. I'm having the Doritos, okay? I'm having the Doritos. Okay, I show this because I think it's important also to understand kind of how region affects things. So this is death rate by state. If you go to the Center for Disease Control's webpage, you can find all of these fun maps that have maps that goes down by the county level. For all-cause mortality, you pick a disease, they've got it. For everything, you get all these kind of fun interactive maps. But I want you to note the darker the blue, the higher the number of people. This is age-adjusted death rate per state. It's per 100,000 people. And so age-adjusted simply means they're doing a statistical correction to account for states that have more older people versus states that have more younger people. They're trying to kind of normalize those things out. I could try to explain it to you, but you would literally want to just like fall asleep, okay? The darker the blue, the higher the death rate. And I just want you guys to look at this. So here we are in Oklahoma, about 915 deaths per 100,000, okay? We are behind Mississippi, where I live, Alabama, okay? We're about even with Kentucky, and we're behind West Virginia, all right? So we were, as of 2010, and it's about the same now, like 4th or 5th in age-adjusted mortality rates, okay? This is not great, okay? Many of you, if you're not from Oklahoma, are from Texas. Texas is better, but it is also not super great, okay? You will look out here. California is doing good. Colorado's doing good. The folks in the Northeast are doing pretty good. But this band here across the Southeast and up into and through Appalachia in Kentucky and West Virginia, these are the places with the highest mortality rates. If I show you this same thing for places where people don't exercise, where people are not physically active, where people are obese, it's going to look just like this. If I show you this based upon socioeconomic status, the states that have the highest death rates tend to be the poorest states as well, okay? So there's some interactions that are going to be going on in the midst of all of this. And we'll talk about some of these things in class. We'll talk about why does being more fit and being more active prevent cardiovascular disease, okay? Why does it prevent certain kinds of cancer? How does it affect all of this? And then why, not very much in this class, but you'll get in other ones, why are we less active in this region than people are out here in Colorado, or people are out here in California? Why are we less active than people are in the Northeast? Okay? We'll get into all of that. Our program is health and exercise science. So I've just rotated off as being chair of the undergraduate committee, which means I was the person that was in charge of kind of organizing why you take the classes that you take and picking who gets into the major of my committee. We were in charge of all of this. The one complaint that I get consistently, you do a survey of you guys at the very end when you graduate. I have to pull all the numbers together. The single biggest complaint we get from everybody is, why in the hell, Dr. Black, why in the hell do we have to take lifestyle? Why do I have to take health promotion programming? I want to be a physical therapist. Why do I need to know about behavior? Why can't I just have more physiology? Why can't I have more of these other things that matter to me? And my answer to you guys is this, right? If I ask every one of you, intuitively you know, if I ate better, if I was more active and I exercised more, right? The fun things in theory for some of us to understand. I understand that the physiology improves with this. I don't die as much or as soon. And yet, I am right in the middle of all of this. We still won't do it, right? We still won't do it. Everybody knows it's good for them. Still don't do it. That's why we need to understand health promotion. That's why you need to understand the theories that you're going to learn in lifestyle. Okay? You need to understand theories of behavior change. That's why you need to understand how you organize a program to get people to try to change their behavior. Okay? What could I do for you guys to get you to go exercise more? They've tried all sorts of stuff. We try to pay people to go exercise. It works for a little while and then people stop. Okay? We try to shame people into doing things. That works for a little while and then it stops. Okay? They tell us we can't shame you guys into wearing a mask, or please, for the love of God, please don't go to Campus Corner. Don't go to Logie's and like hang out and party without your mask and things. Please don't go to that frat party. Guys, if you're in a frat, please don't have the frat party. Ladies, please don't have the big sorority things, okay? Like, we'll just hang out for like a semester, right? We all know this is good for us. Just wait for the damn vaccine. It's coming. Give science time. We all know what we should do, and yet most of us won't do it, okay? Or we'll do it for a while, and then we kind of get sick of it, right? And we kind of get sick of it. Like, I don't like this. I really want that donut. I really want those Doritos. I really don't want to go run today because it sucks. And that's why you need to understand health promotion. Okay? Okay. Rant over. Death rates by states. We're not doing so great here, which just simply means if you guys want to stay here and live here, or you're from here, we have lots of room for improvement. Let's look at it that way. Okay. Here are cardiovascular disease in specific. So deaths from heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, those things, grouped by something called BMI, or the body mass index. Okay. We'll talk all about body mass index. Okay. It's not a measure of body composition. It's a very imperfect measure, but we have a huge amount of data on it. Okay. If your BMI is higher, which means you weigh more per your height, as BMI increases, this is your relative risk of cardiovascular disease mortality. Okay. So people that are in this about 18 to 25 kind of normal range, quote unquote, of BMI, they have some rate of dying from cardiovascular disease. If we look then at people that are overweight, which are in this overweight band, they're going to be maybe 50% more at risk. Their relative risk is somewhere between maybe 1.4 to 1.5 or 1.6 on the higher end here. Okay, 50% more likely to die from cardiovascular disease than people that are normal weight. If you are obese by BMI, it goes up even farther. You may be twice as likely to die. Okay? And so this, in essence, right here, this is epidemiology. This is the stuff that we try to look at and we try to study. We collect data from thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And then we use that to kind of draw ourselves back onto things. So what we learn from this is BMI is related to how much adipose tissue we have in general. Okay? It's not perfect, but it's something. So if we weigh more, we have excess weight per our height, then we're at a greater risk of all of these things happening. Okay? We'll talk about the hows and whys of that in class. Okay, we're going to stop there. We'll save fitness and talking about fitness and some things for. Okay. All right. For Wednesday, I'm going to post on Canvas your first assignment. It's going to say like info sheet or get to know you info sheet. I want you to download it, fill it out, print it off, bring it to me. If you're not coming to class, you may email it to me, but that's the only other excuse. Do that, fill it out. Okay? If you have any other questions or any other problems, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. All right? Good deal. Thanks, guys.